Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the massive economic shift happening in Bihar, one of India's most populous states. We're going to look at its very unique employment challenges and the ambitious blueprint it's building for the future. So let's get right into it. And let's kick things off with a number that, honestly, tells you so much of the story. 61.2%. That's how many male workers in Bihar are self-employed. Now, this isn't just some random statistic, it is the very foundation of the state's economy, which is really dominated by people working for themselves and casual labor. It totally sets the stage for everything else we're about to talk about. So, to really get our heads around this whole transformation, we're going to break it down into 5 key parts. First, we'll get a quick snapshot of the workforce. Then we'll dig into the big challenges, see the government's 2-part response, Social Security and public jobs, and finally, we'll look at their big, long-term bet on building a skilled future. All right, first up, let's get the lay of the land. What does Bihar's workforce actually look like on the ground? Well, this chart here makes it crystal clear. More than half, 53.2% of Bihar's entire workforce is in the primary sector, and that's mostly agriculture. You can see the secondary sector, industry, and the tertiary sector services are just so much smaller. This heavy reliance on agriculture is a really crucial piece of the puzzle. Now, let's see how this intense focus on agriculture creates some real challenges. Because when you put Bihar's data right next to the all-India average, some pretty big differences start to pop out. Okay, so take a look at these 3 key metrics. You can see a really consistent pattern here, right? Whether you're looking at the labor force participation rate or the worker population ratio, Bihar, that's the blue bar, is almost always trailing the national average, which is in orange. This tells us there's a huge part of the population that isn't formally part of the economy. But here's what really jumps out at you: the gender gap. The single biggest difference is in female labor force participation. It's just 30.5% in Bihar. That's more than 11 percentage points lower than the rest of India. So yeah, bringing more women into the workforce is a massive challenge. But you know what? It's also a huge opportunity. So, what's the state doing about all this? Well, the first part of their strategy is to protect that huge number of workers in the unorganized sector. They're doing it by building a solid social safety net. And this gives you a perfect idea of where that support is going. This chart breaks down the welfare schemes for construction workers, and just look at that huge slice for marriage assistance. It's over 65% of the financial support. It really shows a focus on providing direct, concrete help for big life events. And things are speeding up dramatically. Just look at the difference between these 2 years. The number of welfare claims shot up 4 times over, and the actual money granted more than doubled. This is not a slow trickle, my friends. This is a rapidly growing effort to get more workers under a protective umbrella. And to really wrap your head around the scale of this, look at this number. Almost 1.5 million workers got benefits from just one program, the Annual Clothing Assistance Scheme. That just speaks volumes about the ambition and the reach of these programs. Okay, so that's the social safety net. The other big push is a massive public employment drive. The goal here is to create stable, formal sector jobs directly through the government. And the numbers here are just staggering. In just 4.5 years, the Bihar Public Service Commission advertised nearly 500,000 government posts. And get this, almost 87% of those were advertised in a single year. We're talking about a massive hiring blitz. But you know how it is. Advertising a post is one thing. Actually hiring someone for it, that's another story. So the really crucial question is, what was the actual result of this huge drive? And here is the answer. Over just the last 2 years, more than 335,000 candidates were actually selected. This shows some serious follow-through, turning those job ads into real, life-changing jobs for hundreds of thousands of people. But this is about more than just filling posts. Check this out. In one recruitment drive for police constables, an incredible 52% of the people selected were women. And for the very first time, 8 transgender persons were appointed. So this isn't just about jobs, it's about building a more modern and inclusive public sector. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of this entire puzzle, the long-term vision. Because beyond the immediate relief in the government jobs, Bihar is betting its entire future on transforming its workforce through skill development.
And they have a really clear 4-step plan to make it happen. It's all about modernizing the old training institutes, launching huge new skill centers, running very specific targeted programs, and then, and this part is key, actually connecting those newly skilled people to jobs.
Now, I'm not going to go through this table line by line, but just glancing at it gives you a sense of the enormous scope of the Bihar Skill Development Mission. We're talking about everything from specialized training to financial literacy, all happening across hundreds of centers with hundreds of thousands of trainees. It's a massive, coordinated effort. And this isn't about old school training either. The mission is training people in artificial intelligence and machine learning. They are creating certified drone operators for farms. They're running women-only batches to become professional drivers. And you know what? It's working. They won 13 awards at the National World Skills Competition. So, there you have it. From tackling a huge informal economy with safety nets and a massive public hiring push, Bihar's ultimate game plan is to upskill its youth for the jobs of tomorrow. The state is making a huge, huge bet that skills are the one thing that can unlock its true economic potential. The only question that's left is, will it be enough?